Welcome to the heat dome.
It is hot as balls.
I went out this morning and I went, man, it's a hot one.
It's officially summer.
It's Santana weather.
Mm-hmm.
LA goes from Wales weather to
Heat.
Slab City.
Zero in between.
No
now
in
it's
between
just
anymore.
like desert.
It will be heat now till October.
Yeah. Till the very, very end of October, possibly into November.
Yeah. The La Nina or El Nino is gone.
And La Nina is here.
La Nina is here.
I was beekeeping in the valley yesterday.
Oh, shit.
Wearing a full body bee suit in 103-degree heat.
Were you schwitzing?
Girl, I took my bee suit off and I was just wet. Like shirt, jeans.
But you're just like leaning into it.
No, and then I was like, this is farmer life.
Do bees, they're fine in heat.
Yeah, well, they keep their hive a certain temperature no matter the temperature outside. So they will use their wings to fan it down and cool it off, or they'll use like body heat to heat it up if necessary. So it's 97.5 degrees in the hive.
That is crazy.
Isn't it?
They act as AC window units.
Mm-hmm.
What?
They are their own AC.
And they fan the queen?
They're tending to her at
But like, as we discussed, she has a kind of a bad life.
She's meant for one thing and one thing only, and that's to lay.
She gets
gangbanged by like 9 drones on her Virgin flight.
I hate the Virgin flight.
The Virgin flight, she fucking gets DP'd.
She goes
filled to the brim with cum.
Where does the Virgin flight go?
She just kind of goes up in the air and flies around, and then the drones just get at her from every angle.
Outside of
the hive.
So
they load her up with cum, and then she goes back and lays 1,500 to 2,000 eggs a day in her prime.
How long does it take to incubate the larva?
They're like an egg for 3 days, then they're a larva. For a queen, this is going to be on my bee test.
You better.
14. Then a worker is 16, and a drone is 21.
Days?
Days.
Of life?
No, to go from egg to birth.
Wow. So the queen, I'm just saying she's pregnant for a short time.
She's making eggs constant. She's making eggs for her entire life.
That sucks.
I know.
I love the Virgin flight. I imagine the hive, like it's kind of like the Boston Marathon day. Like everyone gets off and just like cheers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a bank holiday for the hive. And then she goes up and gets like spit roast.
Railed.
And then lays like caviar.
Mm-hmm. All her daughters, who then...
They're all female?
They're all female, except for the drones. There's like maybe 9 drones total. But the drones are kicked out of the hive by winter.
She probably hates them.
Everyone hates them. They're just there to like help further the species.
They get thrown out?
Yeah.
Where do they go?
They're too much dead weight to feed. I don't know. They die.
They get exiled and they literally are like, they get sent into the desert.
They're like, bye bitch. And they kick them out and then they hunker down for winter.
What do they do during the winter?
They eat their honey stores.
They never go out, right?
They rarely go out. They just like hunker down. They make sure that they have like enough food. They tend to the queen. They just get cozy.
It's like a youth group lock-in for 3 months.
It's an all girls lock-in.
It's
the queen and all her daughters, her thousands and thousands of daughters.
Do you think they fight with each other, any of them?
No, they all work together. Unless I found out that there was an experiment where they were able to get bees drunk, and then the bees that were drunk became abusive, and they treated their sisters like shit, and they told them the wrong directions to everything, and because they communicate directions to each other for like their homes or like where the nectar is. So alcohol is poison once again.
I love that only a few of them have the alcoholic gene.
Well, I think they...
I like to imagine they get them all drunk and they see which ones like are...
They're like, she's a fucking...
She's like, you fuck... Fuck you.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
But
Lexi.
Bees can get diarrhea. You can
Really?
approach the hive and it could be covered in bee shit.
Oh.
And then they have nosema.
Does it smell like honey?
In the hive?
No, the diarrhea.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't really.
so
I haven't
many.
gotten up close and personal with bee shit yet. But one of these days, I think one shit on my hand yesterday.
Shit's the word.
Mm-hmm.
These
It
days.
sure is.
We can't. Wow. Well,
But
I
yeah.
relate to bees in the sense that they have diarrhea.
Mm-hmm.
So
Been there.
been there. There's a lot to discuss. I really, right off the bat, I have to discuss / suggest that everyone watch the new Dallas Cowboy Cheerleader show on Netflix.
Okay.
The DCC making the team that I've talked so much about has been converted into a big budget, like Friday Night Lights style docuseries about the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders.
Okay, I'm in.
You're gonna die.
I'm ready.
It's so powerful. I mean, the shots alone are like, they blow my mind.
It's a cinematic event.
I mean, look at this.
Beautiful.
It looks like Verhoeven.
Is the drama still at an all-time high?
Yeah, I mean, there's no drama really between the girls. They all really care about each other and are like kind to each other.
Well, they're like, we're all in this together, making $30K a year.
Yeah, the real drama is the power struggles of the women running it, Kelly and Judy.
Okay.
Kelly's been in charge since 1991, and she's made DCC like what it is. They always were something. They also discussed, which I didn't realize this. I mean, I figured there was, but I never knew about her. They discussed the woman that used to run DCC, like from the 70s to 1989. And she was this like, looked like she was a Broadway, like, or like a choreographer at the New York Ballet. Like she was super rail thin, clavicle to the gods, like wearing, sort of that like leotard top, but in like kind of yoga pants in the 70s, big glasses, looked like she smoked like 2 packs a day, like did not look like she belonged in Dallas. And she started the cheerleaders and made it like pop off, and she was terrifying.
Wow.
And they had like 70s style like documentary of her like telling the women what to do and telling them don't give out your name or your address to any man ever. She goes, they will follow you. Like she almost had like
She knew.
And then Kelly took over. And I love her, but she's very problematic. I thought they would maybe gloss over it for the sake of like, feminism, but they really they go in on kind of poking, prodding the girls' torsos.
You thought they would just do it in secret,
Yeah.
but not show that they're doing it?
Well, yeah. I thought maybe they would.
I hate to break it to you, but I fear that on every professional dance level, people are poking and prodding.
I know.
At
I
you.
thought they would try to be delicate about it because like
No.
people get so mad now, but they were fully
No,
and they don't care at all.
No.
That's the part that makes me want to like KMS. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Teeny tiny. They go, well, we're gonna have to bring these pants up. They're a little tight on you. And the girl's literally like,
that's not life.
they really go in. They really explore the Christian element. Like a lot of them belong to like a Mosaic type church.
They need something to believe in when you're getting paid shillings.
One of the girls is an orthodontist.
A full-blown orthodontist?
Fully like lead orthodontist at her own practice.
So this is just like a side hustle for some people.
She doesn't make it. And she's like 31.
Well, yeah, how's she going to balance orthodontia?
She's this stunning woman who's 31, and she's like, might as well try. And
Is
then,
that old for cheerleading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's one girl,
Ancient crone
of an orthodontist.
Crone of an orthodontist crawled up from her hovel and tried
Yeah.
her hand at cheerleading.
But like these are accomplished women, and
Well,
they're
yeah.
like, well, I guess I'll devote my entire life to being tortured. There's one girl who's like the captain of the whole team. She's in her 5th year and she's a nurse. Like she works with a girl who's like in a vegetative state.
Okay.
And she's
Relatively easy. You
I
just
mean,
kinda wipe her off.
she's literally like sucking out like spit from her mouth, like just crazy shit. I mean, she's barely conscious, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
She has this hot ass boyfriend.
That's her full-time gig.
Yeah, and then she sleeps 4 hours a night. She looks perfect. She looks like Casey Musgraves, and then she immediately comes home, eats like salmon, and goes right to practice till 10 or 12 at night, and then gets up at 7, 8. Gets to work at 7 a.m.
How long does she have to care for the vegetable?
From 7:30 to 5:30 every day.
It's a long work day.
And she's literally cradling the girl in her lap, like she's moving her, she's lifting her, like and then she goes and does this, and she's the captain, and she's a flawless dancer. And her boyfriend is one of the hottest men I've ever seen, and he was on that show, The Minx. He played like a porn star.
Question.
What?
But I'm now obsessed with this vegetative state.
Okay, keep going. She's like 12.
Do they think she's gonna like bounce back, or are they just
I don't
kind
know.
of like, this is it?
I think this is it. But she is in that bed with her 9 hours a day, cleaning her, taking care of her, hoisting her up, reading to her, brushing her, cleaning her.
I mean, thank God for her that the parents just want this vegetable to live, because otherwise she wouldn't have a job. But
then she goes.
She goes and serves cunt.
She goes and serves cunt, and like not just like she is that bitch like on the big screen being like.
When are you gonna have your dance moment?
Moi?
Mm-hmm.
What kind?
Oui. I don't know, a dance moment.
Like
You're good at dancing. When are you gonna dance?
I've thought about it.
When?
I don't know. I got a few coals in the fire.
Good.
And then I've thought about it. I've looked. I'm biding my time. I think
Laying in wait.
I think I'm basically laying on an egg, and that egg is dance.
I'm ready for you to shock the world with your dance skills.
I'm good.
And I'm not being facetious.
No, I know.
I'm being
I'm
real.
good.
Yeah.
I will at one point,
Okay.
but that time is not now.
Well, the world waits with breath bated.
The world waits, but you especially just need these girls. And there's one girl named Victoria who is Black Swan.
Okay.
She lives with her mom. Her mom was a DCC. She's 24.
The cycle of abuse continues.
She's 24 years old, but like wears at home will wear like poofy pink dresses, and like her mom gets her she celebrates her birthday alone with her mom. She has no friends, and her mom, it's literally, you don't like the cake? Then it's garbage. It's garbage.
So I saw a TikTok yesterday that was like making the breakfast from Black Swan, which was 1 poached egg and half a grapefruit.
Yeah.
And a girl made it, and she goes, it's actually good.
Victoria I have such love for her. She wants so badly to have friends, and she's like a returning veteran. She's been on the team for 4 years, but no one likes her. And she's gone through a lot, like mentally. Like she had to take a year off because she had to get a treatment for her eating disorder.
Mm.
And I think because she's been candid about that, the other girls are like, sorry. So she's sort of persona non grata. The coaches.
She's a bad vibe.
She's a downer, but outside of it, she's in a dance class.
When you're making $30K a year, the bad vibes gotta go. I'm sorry. Like someone's like, I have a full-time job beyond a full-time job as an orthodontist. Someone's like, I work 80 hours a week taking care of a vegetable 12-year-old. Like you don't get to like harsh the vibe. This is our escape.
We're filming a TikTok.
Is this her? I love her. Wait, these women need TikTok though.
That's her. She's a big TikToker.
They need it because that's the only way to make money. Do they talk about their wages?
Yes, there's a big conversation, and they ask so basically Jerry Jones, who owns Dallas Cowboy, he's worth $14 billion. He has like a succession style family, and his daughter now runs the Cowboys.
She's like the Cameron Diaz and
she's like she's like probably 6 foot and like skinny as a rail and like very pretty, but she's awful. She's a terrible person. And they flat out, the producers of the docuseries ask her about the wage, and she goes, well, we see it as this is a privilege for the girls. So they are making contacts. They are on a global scale. We're giving them a global audience, and they are making connections. And we feel this is an investment for them. That's a privilege.
So they actually get paid like $2,500.
Theoretically, they could be paying them like $600K each, probably, because the fucking Dallas Cowboys is like the most lucrative NFL team in the whole world or in the country.
But do they say what their salaries are?
One of them says I make as much as a Chick-fil-A employee.
Well, that could be good because
Chick-fil-A or like a
$20 an hour.
I think they make like
Chick-fil-A employee in Texas.
We'll see. I mean, Buc-ee's, remember?
I know. Buc-ee's is where you could fucking clean the fuck up.
$250K.
Yeah. If anyone's looking for a job, honestly, you need to move to Texas and work for Buc-ee's.
They make $22,000 a year.
Damn.
I'm hoping that this show, because I'm hoping it elevates them a little and the conversation carries into some sort of like unionizing, but I doubt it. Charlotte is also she is evil, and she has a daughter, Haley, who literally looks like Shiv, like literally looks like Siobhan.
Charlotte's the owner.
Charlotte and her daughter, Haley, who also, all her kids work for her.
Mm-hmm.
Her daughter looks like Sarah, what's her name? Sarah Snook. And there's a shot of her watching them practice. And she's like ready to take 2 girls out, and she's smiling.
You know, it's important, I think, when you're a billionaire to be in charge of a harem of gorgeous underpaid women. Mm-hmm. Like that's like a notch in your belt. Like you can't be like a legitimate billionaire unless you have a team of stunningly beautiful women dancing for everyone that you pay with like hog feed.
And none of them ever frown.
No.
Even when they're crying, they smile and they say, yes, ma'am, after every single thing the coaches say to them. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And then one of them says yes. And then Judy goes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And they go like this. And Kelly while she's watching them, she's constantly making like doing voice notes. And she's like, her pivot was bad on the 4th chorus of Thunder. They come out to that song, Thunder.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
I'm fascinated. I will be watching tonight.
Oh, yeah, you're going to.
I've been watching mostly foreign films all weekend.
Oh, getting ready for you.
Yeah, I'm going to Italia next week, and so I've just been trying to watch like Italian movies and like get in the mood. Fire up duo. I watched La Dolce Vita. Have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's gorgeous.
When's it from?
It's a Fellini film from the 60s.
Ooh.
And it's just like about like a lost journalist / like playboy type who wants to be a serious writer, but he really writes about like gossip shit. It's like he works for like a Us Weekly type of thing, or just writes that level of articles, but has dreams of being like kind of this like intellectual novelist. And it just kind of follows him night after night as he mingles with Rome's society and like movie stars, and just goes on various adventures. And he has a girlfriend who's like suicidal and obsessed with him. And
he's hot.
He's hot, but he's just drifting. He's very lost and very unhappy.
Love that.
Yeah.
Have you seen Death in Venice?
No.
You should watch that.
Okay.
And that is very your shit.
I'm going to watch The Bicycle Thief again because I haven't seen it since college and I remember being incredibly moved by it.
Have you seen Taramo?
No, but I know that's a Pasolini one, right? I don't know where to watch that. I need to find it because I was looking up movies yesterday and it wasn't like showing up as something that was like watchable, but maybe it's on Criterion.
It's probably on Criterion.
Yeah.
You're
Italians
about
are
to go.
just doing it up.
You should watch-
They have like a lot of death.
Mhm.
Like death is like and tragedy are like a very kind of run of the mill thing.
Mhm.
The approach to that.
Yeah.
I'm reading like a book, like a travel guide, but that's also like a kind of like a philosophy book about Rome, just to like get in the fucking zone.
What's the philosophy?
Right now it's just like get comfy with death, like
Okay.
really think about mortality, think about like what you to make of your life, what you build your life's foundation on.
Europeans are definitely more in touch with death than Americans are.
They are.
I mean, like I talked to my father-in-law who grew up in post-war Germany, and like
That's a death vibe.
he used to walk by at his school every day, would walk by a prison of like prisoners going hee in the windows, and then a thing that him and his friends would do apparently would they go to like a window where this monk was basically mummified, and he just sits in his body, was just sitting in a chair, and he lived as a hermit till he died, and they like basically propped him up as a sign of like true devotion. This is what you should do. And a pastime for them would be to go look at the corpse.
Oh yeah, I went to the Capuchin like monks crypt that was just made of mummified corpses and the bones of 3,000 monks.
Yeah, we don't have that here,
No,
and that's why
we have like mass shootings.
we have that's our pastime is mass shootings.
But that's like not even about death, really.
What is that about?
I don't know, but it's not the same kind of death. They had World War II, which was like, and World War I, which you really can't like deny that death. But mass shootings, I feel like have like, there's definitely like a deniability factor to them.
Oh yeah, we're weirdly, it's like we're all so siloed here that like when a mass shooting happens, we go.
It doesn't change anything, I guess.
No.
And I feel like World War II really changed some shit.
World War II changed the fucking game.
It changed
and
the fucking game.
I think when you have like a war like that on your
soils.
but like we have just daily
We mini
daily
wars.
shootings. We have daily wars every day, and then we all go.
And just like day-to-day horrors.
But we deny everything. We're really good. Americans we're incredible at compartmentalizing.
Yeah. And there's like some kind of denial and resilience and just like it's not honoring death. Maybe in some areas of the United States are more like death centric. Like I feel like New Orleans is kind of like it's like a death zone in more of a European sense.
But yeah, I was gonna say that's
and maybe like the Gothic South is more of like a death zone, I guess, probably given its storied history.
Yeah, and just I think New Orleans specifically is just like it's basically Europe and America, but like everywhere else is.
Yeah. So
You can't deny that Americans are resilient in the fact that we are able to move through the day knowing that there's like
that you could get just like fucking blown away.
that you get blown away by a gun that's used in war.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just like
if you're lucky.
If you're lucky,
you'll be one of the few chosen ones that get machine gunned down at the grocery store. It'll be quick.
What's unlucky mean?
Unlucky is like just kind of a rogue shooter, maybe with handguns, who nick you in the leg that fucks you up for life, or like nicks you in the spine, but then
You're paralyzed,
or nicks you in the head, and then you didn't have like your DNR in place, and your family decides to keep you alive as a vegetable, and you're looked after by a part-time cheerleader. I would say that's unlucky.
Yeah.
The luckiest is that just a fucking
Swift.
AK-47 rips about 10 bullets across your neck, and then you call it a day.
And then you get on the
news. On
news.
to the next, you say.
You're on the news for a day.
You say, I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Have a good time, not a
Yeah,
long
you're
time.
on the news for a day. They don't really show your face, or it's like with all the other faces, so your personal headshot doesn't really stand out amongst the crowd.
I would hope that they would use a headshot.
You should make
For
that.
getting, if I'm going to get a headshot, I want a headshot used in the news of my passing in a mass shooting.
In America, something you should definitely have on deck and is a file on your computer that say headshots to be used if I'm shot. And then
Oh my God.
so that people know, because otherwise, like, I don't trust, unless there's like a cunty gay choosing out the photos from social media, like, I don't trust people to make the right choices.
That's with, yeah, I want like a cunty gay at like CNN who like works in the annals to be like, well, this is a really cute photo.
He looks fucking snatched here.
I'm going to do this one.
His cheekbones look good. I don't think it works like that, though. I think you need to be directing. Tell all your loved
We
ones.
should all have one. You're right.
Your
we should-
emergency contact should have access. They should have it on their phone, actually, in their favorites folder.
Please use this photo for when I eventually am killed in a mass shooting.
Mhm.
That's a great idea.
That is, honestly.
That is like, and it's so
You
like,
should have a series of, like, if I'm in a mass shooting, this. If I'm in an earthquake, this. If
we had an earthquake this morning.
If I'm in, really?
Pasadena, baby.
Damn.
There's some rumblings out that side.
If I'm in like just like a Miami condo collapse, this. If I'm killed by a drunk driver, this.
Mm.
If I'm killed in like a domestic violence dispute,
Oof.
this. If I'm stalked and killed, this. Like, you should have a variety.
Oh my
Because
God.
you don't necessarily want to give the same energy in each scenario.
No, you want to show your range.
Mm-hmm. Boeing plane crash.
Oh my God.
This.
The fucking Boeing Starliner or something. There's astronauts stuck in space right now because Boeing fucked up and they had to like seek shelter at the ISS.
No.
So they're trying to figure it out, but they like might miss a window and they'll be stuck indefinitely.
What do you mean indefinitely?
Like for another like swath of months when they should be down now. I'll read this.
No.
I know. Boeing.
They're gravity vibes.
I mean, they're fine. They're like inside, but like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but like, send a ship. Elon.
Astronaut NASA. Boeing Starliner return delayed again for spacewalks. Boeing and NASA are once again adjusting the return home of 2 astronauts from the ISS. They were scheduled to come down and they were scheduled to stay at ISS for just a week after docking there June 6th. Now they aren't expected to make the trip back until at least early July. The space organizations have not announced the return date.
Indefinitely.
No, I'm saying if they miss the window in July, they'll be stuck for like another month, which sucks.
I don't want that.
Because that's like,
You're just eating like marshmallows.
and also, isn't that bad for your bones?
It's bad for your muscles. You're atrophied as hell.
I demand money. I would get, that's another.
That's a lawsuit. Add
That's
it
a
to the
lawsuit.
fucking lawsuits.
How much would that suck?
I wouldn't be happy. That's really the basis for a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Should we
Fucking
get
Boeing.
into
Yeah.
another horror movie?
Yes. I'm Carey,
I'm Lara.
and you're listening to Sex Unique
Podcast.
Boeing.
Beltway Boeings.
Beltway Boeings.
Me, whenever I get the shopping bug, I turn into Mary. I don't make money. I spend money.
I don't make money. I spend money. So we come up on Mary questioning. She goes to Tareq, "You have something to say. I am listening."
You have something to say.
Tareq, mind you, is the drunkest I've ever seen any man on television.
He's slurring and he has wine mouth.
He has wine mouth and he has like a portly little lips, and he's literally like he looks like Augustus Gloop.
He's full gloop.
He's
Bacchus. He's a bit blueberry in that little sweater of his.
He's fully fucking wine blasted, sloshed. They're all kind of sloshed, but he is.
Yeah, they're shit tank. There's nothing else to do at the Styx winery than stomp fake grapes and just you show up to that day and you're like, I'm tying one on.
I love you have something to say, and I am listening. He goes,
okay.
there's been this dialogue about a car we had, and it was stolen. Not only was it stolen, but there was gear in there from the polo club match the charity event that we ran. And then Mary goes, "Aw, by who?"
Sweet Mary.
She goes, "Aw."
She has no idea what's coming her way.
And he goes, "Well, Mary, An agency came to us and said your daughter was on Facebook, asking if we enjoyed that, if this was the same car we joyrided in from the American Polo Club game.
He says, and now the FBI is monitoring, and they're monitoring her emails, her texts for 6 months.
He said, so basically,
He said she's on Lolly is on an FBI watch list for committing grand larceny, stealing Tareq's $90,000 car and all his polo gear.
$25,000 worth of polo gear. Lolly, who is like 25, and so apparently
she's 23.
Apparently, Lolly and her friends were like he's claiming that they were sort of like a band of hooligans who stole the car and then took it for a joyride around DC, and then were bragging about it on Facebook. And Lolly was like, "Haha, we got this."
He is saying that Lolly is like the DC bling ring. He's saying it's GTA DC
starring
Lolly age 23.
It's pretty wild. It's so Mary is of course stunned into wine serenity, which is when you're like you're so drunk but you're like very peaceful.
You're incredibly peaceful and zen about the allegations that are being brought against your daughter. Stacie and Jason are off the bat not buying it.
Jason goes, the FBI, Tareq. He goes, the FBI is monitoring a polo theft?
And he goes, yep, they certainly are. And then Stacie goes, I mean, just as a mother, the fact that her name has been thrown out there in connection to this, and Michelle in her episode, she goes, is devastating to us.
And then Jason goes, you guys seem really like you're not really seeming to understand like the human level of like you're telling a woman her child is being monitored by the FBI, like
a felon.
He goes, I know you guys don't have kids. And I was like, ooh. And he goes, but you should feel some empathy for Mary right now. And he goes, I feel empathy for the polo gear that was stolen.
The saddles.
He goes, you know what I care about? The polo gear.
Michaele goes, you know what? Everybody hurts. And what about the charity? Don't you care about the charity?
And Jason goes, who gives a fuck about the charity, Michaele?
And she goes, that's sad because I care about the charity.
She goes, what about the charity? What about the charity? You don't care about the charity? And he goes, no, I care about Lolly.
That's really sad because I have to say I care about the charity.
And out of nowhere, Tareq goes, it's all over Facebook and everybody's going to jail.
He goes, there's a federal investigation going on and everybody's going to jail. And that's when Mary loses it. She goes, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I don't either. I would be
either.
Imagine you're 3 sheets to the wind. You've been at this like Texas chainsaw style fucking ranch in like the hills of Virginia in the sticks.
You played nice at this like deserted winery. You stomped fake grapes and acted like that was completely normal.
You gave these people grace because you're a classy broad from DC, but now you are being like backed into a corner by this drunk imp of a man who's telling
you your daughter that's 23 years old is being investigated by the FBI for 6 months for committing grand larceny, bragging about it online. She's a felon.
It's all over Facebook and everybody's going to jail. Stunned into silence. And then Mary literally gets up and storms out holding a glass of wine.
She's going out crying. You hear her go, God damn it.
And then before she storms out, Michaele, I think, sort of comes to in this moment and realizes like this is insane, and she starts trying to like comfort Mary. But no.
Are we done?
Are we done? What's going on? Okay, but she's
in this moment I was like, Michaele, you've lost me.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're a fucking villain. You're just as bad, if not worse, because you're not like
you know better.
You know better than this.
I love. God damn it.
Jason is shook.
Jason's pissed. He goes, if he was talking about my daughter, I would be flying across the table, like strangling him. Like he does not understand that like he's talking about someone's kid. And Tareq is completely like dead-eyed, has nothing behind his eyes, and is like just regurgitating complete.
I think he just made this up out of like thin air.
I do too.
What did So what were they talking about before this?
Well, they were talking about.
Refresh my memory.
No, they were just. This came out of nowhere. They were talking about.
They were talking about talking shit about Michaele in the glam room.
In the glam suite. And she like was sort of, well, your Mary, your best friend is Lynda. So you were saying that Lynda, your good friend, your dear friend for life, didn't talk shit about me. And then that's when
Tareq
Mary said, "You've got something to say." And I want to hear it.
Boy, did he.
But here's the thing, though. While this was, I believe this is all like a bunch of horse manure, I do think there was some obviously there was a kernel of truth, because as we come to know, and I think Mary, there was a moment where Mary, as drunk as she was, there was a moment where she was like, oh shit. I think I think a part of her knew a little bit about what was going on. I do think Lolly, I mean, we
laughed
come to
about
know.
something.
Yeah, I think Lolly.
But then didn't Rich call and there was no police investigation?
Well, we'll get to it, but I do think there was a kernel of truth there that they fucking went with and turned into like an FBI investigation in their minds. But Mary, you could see the like, oh, my fucking kid.
I think it was like probably something just similar to the Ashley situation where she was talking shit or like laughing about them on Facebook with people, and then that got morphed, because I don't think the FBI investigation and this stolen gear is even a real thing.
No, I don't think that's real, but I do think Lolly was like being
she was talking shit on Facebook.
But I'll say Ashley was legit like in the wrong. She was sending like death threats to Danielle.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, this was a golden era, a sweet spot of Housewives history where they were going after each other's grown failed daughters.
Mm-hmm. It's important.
It was a thing that was like because that was around the same time as season 2 of Jersey, and it's like before the boundary of like don't get my kids involved, like not about we don't bring the kids in, but before this time, castmates were going after each other's like kind of drifting, aimless grown daughters.
We need to go after the daughters and the kids. It's time to get back to a place of going after the daughters.
So they go back into the limo, which I was excited to see because like this is where I come alive in a situation like this, is like the ride home.
Is the afterwards, and then just being like, can you believe? And also making fun, talking shit, and most importantly, laughing. And they needed someone like you or me there because they were zero lulls.
It was a quiet, sobering limo ride. Stacie was nursing like a little mini bottle of water because she was like, oh my god, I'm wasted and I have children.
Yeah.
And Mary is literally, she goes, how dare Tareq? She goes, the child's father is not here to defend her. And I was like,
what does that have to do with anything?
Jason is pissed.
Jason's had enough. The Salahis are Staubian level villains.
Well, yeah, it's like they're so unpredictable. They're tattletales. They'll immediately weaponize like.
They'll say anything.
But they'll also like they'll go to the authorities.
Yeah, but I fully believe that they are just saying this just because cameras are up and they want to get reactions.
Yeah.
And then you'll never know the actual truth of what's going on. And then I got so excited for the reunion.
Oh yeah.
To like litigate all of this, but I feel like it probably doesn't do anything.
No, I don't. I think it's all a waste of time, unfortunately, because they just focus it on the wedding or the White House crash. But this is a. I'm really like. I'm very disappointed that this wasn't picked up again.
I know,
because this was
everything. The fact that it's like off to the races by episode 5, you're like fully hooked in. Like, there are icons amongst them and true chaotic villain and true friendships. And like, it's just so upsetting because even Kat, like I
gotta say something.
Kat's the fucking bomb.
She's won me over. And
she's incredible. She's
I can
an incredible
say that she's
woman.
capable of saying like incredibly questionable and downright racist shit. But now I'm like, she's
an essential worker on this cast.
And I feel like she and Stacie have buried the hatchet a little because
I think they're lolling together.
Because now we cut to Lynda, Kat, and Stacie getting pedicures together, and it looked really nice. And they're drinking champagne at
Elizabeth Arden.
And Kat is I think she and Stacie have had an off-camera conversation where they've like maybe Stacie was like, you said some really shitty things, and Kat was probably like, I'm really sorry, and like
I like this fanfic.
I know this fanfic. Well, they seem comfortable together now.
Yeah, like they're laughing, and I too take that as like what's done is done, and it's in the past, and now we're moving forward in a place of unity.
I'd say Lynda needs to be listening and learning a little.
Lynda is starting this episode.
Wild. So Lynda and
her mink scrunchie in the spa.
Kat and Lynda are getting Stacey's like filling them in on the fucking horror that went down after Kat left. Kat was like, I had to get out of that. And then
Kat goes, it's quite below the belt thing to do. I wish I'd been there to defend Mary. It sounds hideous.
But Kat's face as Stacey's telling her what Kat hates Tareq in such a like, Kat could kill Tareq, and you can see she's like listening intently as Stacie explains what happened, and you can just see the
wheels are spinning.
The plans within plans.
Stacie and Jason are officially like darked the fuck out by the Salahis.
They're done.
They're done.
They're like, we went to, we were in Paris with them. We really tried. We invited them to our friend's vineyard. We really we tried to see the good in them, and they are just reckless, evil people. And they're done.
She says, you're living a farce.
They are living a farce.
They're farcical. I need to know what Lolly posted on Facebook.
I just also really wish Kat had been there Kat
would have set them the fuck straight.
She would have destroyed Tareq.
Yeah.
Lolly.
Mary goes, Lolly posted something on Facebook, but it in no way makes her responsible.
The food they're preparing looked really good.
I know.
And I like her kitchen. Lolly is like, I know Lolly. I went to college with Lolly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I think we're the same age, or she's maybe like a little older than me in this moment. But like, I see her. She's like kind of a messy, like East Coast girl.
Lolly would have been like.
She was 23.
About my age.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Lolly's like, I don't understand. Like, I was laughing at it, and Mary was like, well, Lolly, you really, you did mess up in that way, that you did implicate yourself a little.
And she's like, I don't think that it's a big deal because it's not true. And they're both Rich and Mary like, we're going to have to call the cops and the FBI to like figure out what's happening.
Mary's going to call her contacts at the CIA.
I know. You fucked with the wrong people.
But also, I had a flash of Lolly and her friends like killing someone together, Sharp Object style, like her kind of rich,
running someone down in the dead of night. And like kind of, I know what you did last summer.
Just like, I feel like
I think any sort of affluent
DC
teen
rich kids
or affluent 20-something who's lost, it's like, are you just a kind of drifting in a quarter life crisis, or have you killed a man with your friends
and are keeping it a secret, and it's
from everyone,
and it's eating you alive from the inside?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're gonna contact their sources.
How do you even like contact the FBI?
There are ways.
Do you just call 411? Does 411 even exist anymore? Remember when you had to call 411 and be like, can you give me this phone number?
Yeah.
Or like look something up in a phone book of all things?
Oh, the school phone books were like my Bible.
Yeah. Those were important.
I memorized everyone's number, where they lived. I looked up all their addresses. I could see whose parents were divorced, because they would have separate addresses.
Yeah, the parents would have separate addresses.
And only the cool kids had their own lines, and I didn't have that, so I always was like, fuck. But I would study. I knew where everyone lived. I was like, weird.
You were keeping records.
The queer urge to
memorize everyone's phone number, address, and know whether or not they have a private line.
And they know nothing about me, but I know everything about them.
We would use the phone book to make like prank calls to seniors.
Yeah, we made a few prank calls.
Like in like 7th or 8th grade, start calling random seniors that we knew about and like pranking them, which was always fun.
I used to be gagged when I'd see
on like their own. We'd primarily target the cool ones with their own private lines.
Well, they deserve it.
Yeah,
They're
and then we
fair
would
game.
just like call them and fuck with them.
Because that's punching up. You never want to punch down with a prank call. You always want to punch
No,
up.
you have to call older kids.
Yeah.
And laugh and giggle as you say like the dumbest shit to them.
But when the
phone book dropped, you made time to start memorizing.
When the back to school night was so exciting to me, to the thought of my I didn't go, but the thought of my parents going and like meeting my teachers and hearing what they had to say about me, and it was so fun, and it was like tense. Like I was excited, but when they would come home from that, I think they would hand out the phone books at back to school night, and I would immediately
up all night.
Yeah. Sleuthing.
Michaele and her assistant Jen go to dinner.
Palette. That's what the restaurant's called. Michaele. Jen serves, kind of.
She does. Michaele's like, Jen is my assistant, but she's become one of my best friends.
I'll say.
Yeah, it was like, this is sick, though.
She's only friends with people that work for her.
Yeah.
They start talking about Mary, and then they start talking about Kat, and they start talking about like the wine stomping, and she goes, I think the wine stomping went great. I'd say that was a really fun time.
It was beautiful.
It was a beautiful day.
She goes, Kat was so rude. She was so rude. It's not being a Washingtonian. And it's certainly not being a Washingtonian lady.
Wow.
If you're rude at a wine stomping that isn't actually a wine stomping, you have a strike against you, and you're certainly not a Washingtonian.
She goes, I showed that woman my wine. I let her ride my horses. I mean, what more love can I show?
I'm obsessed with her assessing someone's like Washingtonianness based off of like one rude interaction.
My first boyfriend was a Washingtonian.
Was he a Washingtonian through and through? Or was he rude and not a Washington? Was he a Washingtonian lady? Or no?
They were like a big Georgetown family.
No, but I'm saying in Michaele's.
Oh, he would be,
Michaele consider him a
yes.
Washingtonian?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He also had a farm in Virginia where he.
Oh, nothing is more Washingtonian.
Yeah.
Kat's just saying or Michaele's saying if you're nice to her. And don't call her out on her shit, then that makes you a total Washingtonian.
If you don't call Michaele out on being
a absolute grifter piece of shit, garbage,
then you are simply not a Washingtonian. But if you
don't call her out, you are a true Washingtonian. And if you're a woman, you're a lady Washingtonian. But if you call her out or raise an eyebrow to any of the egregious crimes she commits, you're simply not a Washingtonian.
I dated a true Washingtonian. He was a gentleman, but it was intense. That world is intense. His family was like.
Were they down the street from the CIA?
They were.
Were they in McLean?
No, but I believe they were in some sort of diplomat situation. His dad.
Chic.
He was one to watch. And we had a secret relationship.
Secret gay relationship? His family didn't know? And your family didn't know?
No one knew.
That's sexy.
Only a few. But he lived across the hall.
Wow.
But he was wild in a good way.
Did you ever travel with him?
I went to his house. When we weren't together, we stayed friends after we were no longer betrothed. And we stopped at his house on the way back from like the end of college trip to Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt a little awkward because I was like, I don't know if his parents know. They clearly don't know about me. So I was like, and we had I remember they sat us in their sitting room.
You just had to kind of pretend that you're both straight guys in the sitting room.
No, it was like thank God I had some of my girlies there, but we were all just sitting there, and they were just like a very Washington. This house was unreal.
Wow.
And I was afraid. Now he's doing great.
Love that.
I think he's married to a man. Out and proud.
Both of you.
Both of us.
Married.
I had my anniversary yesterday.
Happy anniversary to Carey and Simon.
Thanks, doll.
Michaele says that in this group of women, of evil stepsisters, stepmothers,
of course,
she feels like Cinderella. She goes, I feel like Cinderella. I do.
I do. She goes, you know, what's the thing with the wicked stepmother and the two stepdaughters? That's them, and I'm Cinderella. And Jen goes, I was like, good one. You're literally, your brain is literally putty. Michaele's brain is completely broken.
I'm obsessed that she ran out on Tareq. She started up, I did like a deep dive read into her relationship with Neil, the guy from Journey. And apparently, according to Tareq, they struck up. She had met him, I think, in her 20s.
Yeah, they had an affair.
Well, no, they didn't have an affair. They met, and like he gave her his number, and then she never called him. And then
that's power.
Later, they met again in her like 40s when she was with Tareq, and then they struck up like a friendship, and the Salahis would hire him sometimes to like perform for events that they had.
With what money?
I don't know. And then Michaele and him stayed like really close and started like sexting and started having an affair. Then she told Tareq that she was going out to get her hair done and just left and never came back. And she was with him. And Tareq claimed that Neil sent him a picture of his dick and said, I'm fucking your wife now.
Good.
And Neil said that never happened.
That's Tareq's fantasy.
And Tareq tried to sue her for $50 million for like messing up their joint business venture together. And I believe it got thrown out. And then Michaele countersued him. And I don't know if she won, but she countersued him because he was trying to say that she has MS, which I didn't realize. Ooh. But he was saying that her MS was like fake. And so she sued him about that because it was real.
Well, now she's with a guy who has like tens of millions of dollars and is like...
She's good, but I'm like... It's such an interesting character study because I consider her villainous for her behavior in this season. But then to also see that she's laying groundwork and just getting out and like moving on.
I want to say she's a villain by association. I think she's under some sort of spell with Tareq, or she feels like, but I think it's in you already, and I think maybe it takes someone to, like, as Tina Shea would say, like, is somebody gonna match my freak? And Tareq brought it out in her, and I think it was like always in her, but hopefully she's reformed herself a little with Journeyman,
I guess, or just has like a whole different set of like values to contend with. But I also just support women like using their feminine wiles to get the fuck out of a situation and upgrade their lives with a new man.
I love being like going out for a hair appointment and then never returning.
And being like, I'll be back. Then he was like, where are you? She goes, I'm stopping by my mom's. Then he called her mom, and her mom was like, she's never been here.
Well, if that's how she had to exit, you know, it's bad.
Yeah, I support it. I'm just saying though, it is a bit, it's weird.
Yeah.
And now she just posts like Facebook slide or Instagram like slideshows of just the same weird picture with like a song.
Yeah.
It's strange. She's a strange bird.
She's no doubt she's unwell and unhinged, and maybe this guy can. Maybe
she just found the right person.
Mary and Rich are sitting in their parlor guzzling wine in the afternoon. And Rich they're basically like, we did our due diligence. The police and FBI have nothing on
Lolly, and there's not even anything about this case.
Apparently all they have is a comment they made on one of her friend's pictures.
I have a theory about like why this was even brought up on camera is because Tareq's going to try and claim it as like some sort of loss on taxes or something like that. So if you say that it happened and then you have like proof because you talked about it on a show, then when tax time comes, you can say like, or for like insurance fraud purposes, I believe he's doing it to get some sort of financial benefit from fabricating. I don't even believe that a car was stolen and gear was stolen.
Yeah, because he has like negative $900,000.
Yeah.
Like he's literally so broke, it's like not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
I love the whole time this is happening, Mary's reading like a giant Taschen book, like coffee table, like what? She just has it open.
She has it open on her lap like midway through.
Lynda calls Stacie for real estate advice. McLean, Virginia.
Virginia. So sorry.
You.
Oh my God.
Sorry. She wants a place in McLean. She's had a few things fall through, but she's like determined to live in a mansion in the Virginia suburbs of DC. And Stacie is darked out by this.
Stacey's just like, why would you leave the district?
She goes, I am from Virginia and I never want to go back to that fucking place.
Fair. Lynda's pug, I just have to say, is an essential player of the show. Ichi.
Ichi's this
Ichiban.
fat ass pug just staring.
Just fucking sitting on his ass staring.
I love that she's drinking like a scotch or like a whiskey or something.
After a long day of sex trafficking, it feels good to settle in with some brown liquor in a glass.
She's like, I really just want this to work out. I think it's the right move. It's part of my 5-year plan.
Because I guess she's getting this house. She's going to renovate it, increase the value, and then like sell it. It's an investment property.
But Stacey's like, you live in Georgetown, like on the water right now. Like, why would you want to leave?
Because it's not about that, Stacie. It's
Yeah.
about making money in real estate.
Yeah.
It's about trading up.
This is 2009 America. Things are bleak.
Many people have lost their house. Not me. I'm gaining a house.
Yeah.
And I'm going to flip it. And then I might be able to get out of this sex trafficking ring.
Then we get into like the greatest cosmic matchup you can even imagine. It's Kat and Edwina
At high tea.
at the Mayflower.
I want to go have high tea.
Can we do it?
Yeah.
I mean,
I know one place.
let's go the day before. I mean, we have a fun activity planned for us in DC.
Well, I don't know if we can go in DC, honestly,
Okay.
because our schedule's tight. We might have to table a high tea for
another time.
another time.
The harpist is harping, and Kat looks like she wants to seppuku herself.
Edwina. Well, also it's Edwina.
Edwina.
Edwina
I'm gonna
asked
call her
Kat
Edwina.
about her book, and she's like, I hear you're writing a book. And Kat goes, yeah, there's a real page turner.
Well, first when they sit down, Edwina goes, "Welcome to the United States. I hope you're feeling so welcome and embraced." And Kat goes, "Yeah, I'm enjoying it."
She won't give her a fucking inch.
She goes, "So you're writing a book?" And then she goes, "I love book parties. What a fun profession." And then
She's
out
like,
of
I can't wait for that.
and then out of nowhere, Kat goes, "I heard you're a Republican lobbyist for healthcare, and I thought that was an oxymoron."
Edwina goes into this mode.
Oh, Comrade Kat comes out, and she's like, I think it's unbelievable, the healthcare system here.
She goes, I already have 23,000 in bills. I've only been here 18 months. I was like, damn, bitch.
Yeah, what are you going?
What the fuck?
She goes,
You get hit by a bus or what?
She goes, 44, I think it's absolutely wretched. 44,000 Americans die a year because they don't have health care. I mean, it's absolutely absurd.
She goes, the NHS is not perfect, but no one goes without.
She goes, I think it's a fundamental human right that everyone have access to health. And Edwina goes,
Yeah, we hope to work on that.
She goes, so tell me more about your book.
Kat goes, did you vote Republican in the last election? And Edwina goes, I did vote a straight Republican ticket. Kat goes, even for Sarah Palin.
And she goes, yes, well, she was on it, so I've
She goes, you can't split the vote, so yeah.
And she goes, are you absolutely kidding with me that you would say that she'd be a good vice president?
You think she'd be a good vice president? She's, I think she'd be fine. And I was like, not no.
And she goes, I think it's absolutely the craziest thing I've ever heard. She also goes, Edwina reminds me sort of an Edwardian doll. She like never changes her expression. She's always sort of, damn.
I love, she goes, so you think she'd be a good vice president? She'd be fine. She's, well, there you go.
This should be studied.
This is incredible work. Laying the groundwork for This is just ahead of its time in every way.
Edwina is, I love this sort of, it feels like a movie. Like it's just, it's such a, you can almost hear like Penderecki's like shining strings, like ding, 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 like as this is going, because Kat is just fucking merciless.
Kat is unafraid.
Yeah. Well, she thinks Americans are beneath her.
So that gives her like a leg up.
I think British people inherently make Americans feel insecure when they're with them because they're just like, I'm saying in general.
I want Kat and Lisa Vanderpump to face off. That would have been like, imagine an ultimate girls trip with Kat and Lisa on it.
I think you're absolutely ridiculous person.
Pig. And tell me, was it your restaurant that served orange cream sauce and made women sick?
Tell me something. Was it your restaurant? Was your restaurant the one with the women?
I'll bet Kat knows about Lisa. I'll bet Kat, like, in society would have like opinions on the Vanderpumps.
Well, yeah, they had like
the Vanderpump Todds.
They were restaurateurs in like old Soho. So Kat must have known. Lynda, Ebong, Stacie, and Jason had to dinner. And
Edwina's having a little party. And
oh, yeah.
She tells Kat to bring all her friends and especially her husband. Edwina has the hots for Charles.
She goes, I hear he's in the White House press corps. And she's like, yes, it was just the last 2 terms of Bush, now as Obama.
No, Obama. So she goes, does that mean he flies on Air Force One? Kat goes, yeah. Just trying to get him to fly anything commercials. I'm sorry, darling.
Literally, these people, DC, like, they are all like coming in their pants for any
presidential proximity. I think no matter who the president is, you're like, I want that.
People are literally like, if someone has a chance to suckle at the teat of presidential power in DC, they will. No matter
it's interesting.
No matter whom's.
It is Hollywood for Uggs.
It is.
She goes,
bring him. I'd love him to come. I'd love to meet him.
Maybe you consider being a Republican. And Kat goes, absolutely not. I'd have to be 6 feet under. She goes, oh, really? She goes, I think you're a dying breed. And the way Edwina smiles, I was like, she knows things. It was like a you ain't seen nothing yet, sweetheart kind of smile.
Edwina's
like, she goes, you think we're a dying breed? Your kids aren't going to be able to have abortions. That was the kind of smile it was.
Oh,
that was the kind of knowing smile.
She goes, guess who's coming in a few years?
Have fun with your medical bills.
Fuck.
We'll make sure that those triple.
We'll make sure that you have to drive to another state to have an abortion.
Yeah. Good luck to your daughters getting birth control.
Good luck to your daughters having
an IUD or
autonomy over
anything.
their bodies.
Yeah. It was the smile of someone who knows that, like, there are so many depraved levels of trolling that they're capable of advocating for and dropping to, that nothing you say over tea even fucking phases them.
Edwina's one to watch.
She is.
Lynda
and Ebong have dinner with Stacie and Jason.
They sit down and he goes, so you're leaving the district?
They're really shaken. They're DC heads.
Yeah.
And Ebong is Nigerian.
So Stacie's like, can you tell me about your childhood a little? And she goes, because my dad, I found out, is from the Igbo tribe in Nigeria. And he's like, oh, so they bond over that. And Lynda asks about her birth mom. And she's like, well, Stacie's like, my mom and I had a conversation on the phone. She sent me birth photos from when I was a newborn, which I'd never had or I've never seen before. So that was like a really wild moment for me. And Lynda goes, my God. Linda's little 3 sheets already. And she goes, what if she spent her whole life wanting you? And Stacie goes, well, she didn't, because that's why she gave me up. So like she's like, she made that clear. She didn't want me. And Lynda goes, no, in her heart, I know she wanted you.
Lynda, this is where I'm going to need you to pump the brakes.
And she goes, it's just such a shame that she, Stacie's like, again, she tells like she met my dad in the Peace Corps. They got pregnant. She didn't tell my dad. I've seen a picture of him. So I have like some clues, but like I'm really going to have to like go deep and like figure
Why
out.
not just, if you're going to show a picture, why wouldn't you just tell him his name?
Because I think she seems like a rotten lady. And then she goes, oh, your mom just like probably didn't want to experience like, the ignorance and hardship that comes with like, being a white person in a black space. And Stacie and Jason and Ebong are all like, what's she saying? And she goes, I'm from Southern Georgia. And they all go, oh, are you? And Ebon's like, yep. And Lynda goes, I experienced reverse racism in Southern Georgia, where I have been actually told to leave places.
She said, no, she said, people wouldn't serve me.
Because I was white.
Dinner. Because I was white.
And they all are just...
Your struggles, girlfriend, you are strong for going through that.
Stacie goes...
People wouldn't serve you at a restaurant. I love because you were white.
I love Stacie goes, really?
I'm obsessed with... Well, I have experienced reverse racism.
And
where I went into a restaurant and they wouldn't even look at me.
Ebong just literally, you see him go like this. And Lynda goes,
I love it. That is just the worst virulent racism. How did you get through?
How did you manage,
How
Lynda?
did you get through and process something as horrific as not being served at a restaurant because you were white? Please tell me more.
And making it to where you are now.
You must think about that every day.
She goes, well, I actually experienced...
That's also probably someone was just like busy and just didn't get to her table within 10 minutes. And she goes, it's reverse racism.
And then they go, well,
I'm white.
And then I think Stacie or Jason's like, well, you seem open-minded. Like you're in an interracial relationship. And then she pats her boyfriend's hand and she goes, well, the way I see it is if you close your eyes and touch someone, a man is a man and a woman is a woman.
She goes, if we all were blind, we wouldn't see color. And I said, if we all were blind, it'd be a nation of fucking blind people. That would be a big fucking problem. People's race would be the last fucking problem because everyone would be blind.
And struggling.
And struggling. People would be blind, you stupid bitch.
There's an Apple TV show about it. Starring Jason Momoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The King of Gypsies, his Instagram handle.
Oh, but his show's about just everyone blind?
It's like 300 years, or no, it's like 1,000 years in the future and everyone's blind, but there's like a few people that can see.
Are they like moles?
No, they live outside. They're just blind. And he's like a hot soldier.
Is he blind?
Yeah.
She goes, but, blind or not, I would know. She goes,
I can't even.
She goes, because of those nappy hairs on his chest to her boyfriend. I was, lady.
They all had to just like laugh that off because it was just unbelievable.
Was this before that radio DJ said that? Remember that radio personality made a comment about a woman's hair being nappy and got in a lot of trouble for it?
I don't remember that, but I believe it. Yeah, this is not something you should...
I just thought, I was like, what timing wise? It's also just like, let's not.
Don't. Just don't say it.
Read the room.
It's just, Lynda
feels she's post-race because she grew up in South Georgia and a black person refused to serve her one time.
Lynda is just...
And so now she's on the level. She's like, I am black.
Lynda's
operating like she's literally... She, in her mind, is a black person in this moment.
Well, it's very like Alyssa Milano brand of like... Do you know what I mean?
Of what?
She's like tweeted before like, I am black, I'm Latino, I am trans, I'm gay, like I'm everything. Like that kind of...
Yeah.
But
it's like...
It's insidious. It feels like... It actually feels more sinister than like Kat's brand of just like disgusting, like tawdry outright.
Yeah, or just being uncomfortable. It's just like... It's delusional.
It's delusional.
Like Kat's brand
is like
rude, but to the one thing to its credit is that it's like an honest reaction of what you're feeling in the moment. This like a brand of like racism that where you're like we're all equal when we're blind, right? Is delusional.
That's almost scarier, I think.
I think it's more honest to just admit like I'm white, you're black, we do things differently, and it is what it is, and we have very different life experiences because of it, and that's just honest.
I think there was more punch packed in there, but I think she was definitely more like, but Lynda's brand, it's a brand that we've all, I think it's a common thing to see with like just
I like them on the show exploring the spectrum of like white racist middle-aged female shenanigans.
Yeah, it's pretty like, I guess they tapped into it a little in like Beverly Hills with like Sutton, but like it's pretty.
But that's after.
No, I'm saying it's pretty rare. Like this was kind of rare to see this sort of explored at this time of like just how like insidious white discomfort is.
What I'm also sad about is like Jason is a really good. He's a power player.
Jason has a full confessional.
And he also gives incredible reaction. Like whenever it pans to him when something's happening, his like facial expressions are a lol.
They're great audience proxies.
And I do feel like if it had gone on, maybe I said this last episode, but Stacey's friend Erica could have gotten bumped up to a housewife because she'd be really good.
She was good, and I usually when a house husband like has a confessional, like I'm like, get the fuck off my screen. Like I'm sorry, I don't want to see PK or like Mauricio. But when like Jason's on, it's really refreshing.
But this feels organic just from the jump, not like, oh, audience liked this person, so we like threw him on. Yeah. It was just like, no, he's just part of it, and he's like in the mix. Yeah. So it's like, it's not pandering to anyone. It just is what it is. Like also the gays. We were truly the Salahis. The biggest crime they committed was getting this show canceled. Yeah. They deserve to never be forgiven for that.
It's true. So we cut to the house that Lynda's buying. It's a huge house in McLean.
Very yellow. It's really like tiles and yellow inside. I didn't like it.
How many kids does she have?
3 maybe?
She's got a brood.
Yeah.
So they go with Ichiban, they go to peruse the house, and she goes, "This is our new home. This is our family home."
She talks about all the walls she's going to like bust out and calls it like a long project. So then, she's really serious about real estate.
They go outside and they're like, there's no fences. So Ichiban, like, he's, I want a German Shepherd to keep me safe because Ichiban's like a cat, which I was like, I relate because Mango's a cat.
Yeah. And then Ichi is really happy there. And it made me say, you know what? I want to buy Tony a house.
In McLean?
Somewhere.
I kept imagining that like horrific algae pool that needs to be, I kept imagining like a body just like half submerged.
It's Lolly's murder victim.
Kat invites Stacie and Jason to come with her to Edwina's Republican party.
Everyone's gonna gather for like the lobbying party. That literally, is this what happens in DC? Like a lobbyist throws a party in like a hotel convention center.
Yeah, I think they go to like various ballrooms and just like.
Because I'm remembering like on Veep, they're always like going from ballroom to ballroom.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think
you just like eat crudité and like rub elbows with.
I think Congress people go like whip up support and like shake hands and like get people to like fund their like.
They're like, you know what we want is to be able to put a magazine on an AR-15 that allows them to shoot 69 bullets a second.
Can we depend on you?
And then they go, please help there's a cheese plate. Did you get a glass of wine? Just go have some. The brie is really good.
And they say, also, we're going to give you $60,000 in your next campaign. So can you...
So have a little cheese, think it over.
And then they're like, you know what? I finished the cheese. I had some time to think.
They go, sorry, I'm on Ozempic. I'm not eating any cheese,
But
but
you've
I
got
will
yourself
have
a
a glass
deal.
of wine. And I do like what you said about the
Yeah.
60K.
60K. I'd like it immediately tomorrow.
So that's what happens in the conference rooms.
I think they just like network and like get peddle their like bussies,
I'm like,
and they have like
it's just been
randos.
only for like Washington things.
Yep.
Washington things.
Yeah. They literally just go to
I'm
ballrooms.
like, will you, like, could you as a podcaster go into the ballrooms and be,
There's like networking
could
shit.
you go into the ballrooms in DC and be like, I'll fucking tell people why guns are great if you give me 100K for the pod.
Everyone in DC is a whore.
You're just buying things.
You're just like getting and you're just selling yourselves. And
Why
getting,
aren't they getting like podcasters in the ballrooms?
Because they don't want people to know what's happening.
But no, I mean, if it's going to happen, people should just be benefiting. No?
Take it up with your
You want to go in the
senator.
ballroom?
Call Adam Schiff.
I don't like that.
Hello.
I don't like to call.
I don't either.
Give me a copy and paste email.
Ugh.
I'll send it.
I saw pictures of like that fucking who's that like wretched ogre that like we all loved, and now he's like a hardcore like right wing person. He pretended to be progressive. He's from Pennsylvania.
Oh,
And
the
he
guy
always-
that wears shorts.
Yeah, he always wears like hoodies, and he's disgusting. I always see pictures of him in ballrooms.
With his shorts.
Oh yeah,
And he's like shorts and Crocs and a hoodie.
yeah.
He crocked his way into DC.
He had like a tuxedo hoodie on. He literally looks like the guy from the Goonies.
Pennsylvania vibes as fuck. But I'm just saying, like, let's like open up the ballrooms. I think it's time.
All right.
Ballroom culture.
Maybe when we get there.
DC is
What happened?
DC is a different kind of ballroom culture.
Well, it's
You could not be more opposite
of
than
like,
ballroom
the real
culture.
ballroom culture.
Yeah.
When I think of DC ballroom culture, though, I think of the movie The Witches, where they like close the doors and they all take their like hair off and they're all like bald and like have like claws for hands. That's what I
Yeah.
see. Like
That was a ballroom. That was
yeah,
ballroom
it
culture.
was a hotel ballroom.
They and they gather
Remove
and like,
your wigs
turn a boy into a mouse.
and stomp on them.
But like, yeah, I'm thinking it's time to infiltrate the ballrooms.
Well, when we're there, we'll do it,
Okay.
and then we'll be
If
killed.
anyone has like a lobbyist, invite us to the ball. I'll be there. I'm going to be in DC from the 16th to the 19th the 16th to the 20th. And if I don't get
you're gonna be like,
I'm
I saw
living-
your dates when we were booking, and I was like, damn, she's there for.
well, because I have to get
No,
back.
I know, but I'm like, I'm getting there like 2
There's
days.
a method to my madness.
You're gonna be alone for 2 days in DC.
Oh, I've emailed DC natives for Rex. I'm gonna go to the Natural History Museum.
Oh, you should.
And I'm gonna like look at the White House. I'm gonna spit on the White House.
You should set yourself on fire.
Should I self-immolate right before the show?
You can go to the Smithsonian.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit up.
You
There's
can-
really good museums there.
Go check out Simon's art in the Smithsonian.
Don't mind if I fucking do. I didn't even know his art was in the
Yeah.
Smithsonian.
Cooper
Well,
Hewitt.
fans, you heard it here first.
Right? Isn't that nuts?
I'm gonna go check. I'm gonna be boots on the ground. I've never been to DC, and I'm excited to.
You've
be
never
in-
been to DC?
No. Why
What?
the
Wait,
fuck
why-
would I? Why the fuck would I
Well,
go to Washington?
I thought like a school trip at some point.
No.
Whoa!
I'm at NI in DC until
wow.
now.
You know what? You're gonna have a good time.
Oh,
It's
I'm
the
excited.
it's the Paris of the Northeast.
I'm excited.
It's kind of it is a little
It's
like
gonna be a horrible hot time.
you need to go to Georgetown.
I'm in a swamp.
Will you go to Georgetown and go shopping?
Is that where the shops are?
There's this cute little place. Georgetown is really cute, and you can go
I
see
need
the
to know-
Exorcist steps.
Yes.
Yes.
I need to know where the shops are.
All
So
right.
someone tell me where the shops are. Someone, any lobbyists that listen, let me come into a ballroom.
Last time I was in DC, I was in Georgetown, and I was on a lot of coke.
Love that. Side note, Michaele's outfit that she wears to the ballroom seems wildly inappropriate for the setting.
So first, Kat is in her closet with her daughter. One of her daughters looks like she stuck a fork into a socket. I'm like, what is wrong with her hair?
Her daughter has full ab fab hair.
I know. They're ab fab.
They are.
They're Safi, and she's Adina.
Her daughter is Adina, and the other one's Patsy.
I know.
She's like, darlings, get in this.
Just come help me. She goes, I'm going to.
Come on, me pick out a cheeky outfit to wear.
She goes, I'm going to pick out for the Republican Party. And her daughters go, are we Republican, Mama?
God
goes,
no.
God no.
Republican Party is like the bottom of a glass of wine.
She's
The
just
dregs.
The dregs. You see what I mean?
Mm.
She goes, so help me pick out a silly outfit. And they go, okay, we hate Republicans, Mother.
This would be fun. They go, the dress that you wore to your wedding. And they show like a naked dress.
Yeah.
I was like, Kat, my God, you sultry lass. Kat goes, I haven't been having a lot of fun recently, so I'm ready to have a little fun.
She goes, I plan on dressing like an absolutely insane person for this Republican Party to show them how insane they are. And I went, oh, she's starting.
This is like what I live for.
So we cut to the ballroom itself, and Edwina's there setting up with her crew. And she goes, everything looks amazing. Woo!
In a conference room, she's like making sure the fucking crudité is out.
I went like this.
Edwina.
When I see this kind of like, just a ballroom with no windows.
It's a harsh overhead lighting and like the
wine.
tables and the chairs. Like shit wine.
Shit fucking house red. And
The
like,
overhead, the lighting. I'm like, can we just make it sexy? My God.
yeah, put in some like hue lamps.
Maybe people wouldn't think that it was Hollywood for ugly people if you were just lighting people to look their hottest.
No, they have to. They're
They're
like,
literally like, we love a harsh neon, bright as it can get overhead lighting, so everyone looks like a ghoul.
yeah, because they want to be like, we don't care about how we look. We're just here for the fucking.
We're here for a good time, not a long time.
So Edwina is.
She then goes MIA, and the Salahis show up. First and foremost,
Michaele comes in and she goes, I'm excited to meet Edwina's friends. Yeah.
yes, she starts working the room. Everyone's like jazzed because she's like looks like a Barbie.
Stacie and Jason, the one thing that I'm like,
I think that they are gonna prove themselves to not be allies.
well, no, I'm not even about that, but they are a little too excited about politics. Like they're politician stands. Like, you know what I mean? Like
They like to know things.
that. I'm like, that's the
Well,
one.
also
strike
she's a
against-
real estate agent. She has to be like involved.
But this one councilman comes in named David Catania, and Stacie goes, I see our local councilman, David Catania. David Catania walks in, and I'm very interested in talking to him. He has a whole plan about healthcare.
And he has things to do with gay marriage. And I was like, this is the beginning. I think that they're anti-gay marriage.
He's gay.
I think that Stacey's anti.
Really?
Someone said, I'm not skipping ahead because like I want to see it for myself, but someone was like, I think she outs herself as being like anti-gay marriage. And I was like, she fucking did that.
Damn.
So we'll see.
That's like kind of classic Democrat, like 90s, 2000s Democrat, where it was like Hillary Clinton and was like, I think a marriage should be the sanctity of men and women. And then Obama and Biden were also like, gays shouldn't get married.
But then they were like, you can get married. It's
Well,
a little treat.
The one thing Obama did, like, I always appreciated that he was like, yeah, I changed my mind.
I love that.
Like Elizabeth Warren, I remember at one of the debates was like, back in Kansas, there was a local gay lesbian couple down the street, and I always was so nice to them. And I was like, yeah, there was an out lesbian couple living in Kansas. And like Biden told a story about his dad being like, he saw two men kissing in the 40s in Pennsylvania. And his dad was like, you know, Joe, love is love. I was like, yeah, are you kidding? Like, so I'd rather have you be like, I thought one thing and now I think another thing.
Yeah, that's the best way.
That's cool. Don't lie. You don't have to lie.
I don't like lies.
Liars.
Kat shows up dressed as Sarah Palin.
Someone goes, is that Sarah Palin? She actually looks like her.
She does look like
I
her.
said Tina Fey is shaking.
She waltzed in there. I was crying. Stacie and Jason loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey's cry laughing.
Well, first, but I just want to say David Catania meets Michaele and his gay, like he immediately goes, I love your dress.
Yeah, I was like, she's working the gays in the room.
Yeah, so Stacie and Jason are screaming.
Charles, Kat goes, Charles hates Sarah Palin, so we had a lot of fun getting dressed up.
They fucked.
They did. They're in a good place. Charles is looking like kind of
He's
lustfully at her. He is hot. He has big dick energy.
Kat goes, "This is my best friend Joe from Barbados." I was like, all right.
She's fucking international.
She is. And she goes, "Oh, look, there they are, the Salahis." She goes, "It's so fake. The artificial people with the artificial grape stomp with the artificial grapes."
With the artificial personalities, my God. And Stacie goes, "Be nice." And Kat goes, "Give me strength." Oh. And then Stacie veers her away. And everyone's like, where the fuck is Edwina? Like, we're in this fucking ballroom. We all look like shit.
And then this like Secret Service lady comes in who I think is like her security. And she comes in and she goes, "All right, everyone." And this guy comes in and he goes, "Look, everyone, I'm so sorry, but Edwina is..."
He goes, I literally wrote word for word because I
Okay.
was like, this is incredible. He goes, "Edwina is taken out on a stretcher." First and foremost, people are like, where is Edwina? And then it cuts to the hallway and it says, you see a woman getting taken out on a stretcher. It says Edwina Rogers.
It's very Vuki.
It's so Vuki. And a man comes in, he goes, "Something extremely important unexpectedly arose. It did require her immediate attention and she just had to leave."
It's so she
literally like
She had
had
verti-
like a vertigo attack.
had I wrote she had Havana syndrome.
I love something extremely important unexpectedly. This is me getting like spewing diarrhea, shitting myself and having to get taken out of the function on a stretcher. I need a spokesperson to go, "Something extremely important unexpectedly arose and it did require her immediate attention."
You see her like this. You hear the it's like raining
and she just
out.
had to leave.
And then
I love like Washington speak. This feels very Washington to me.
just like covering up.
It's not a lie, but
Yeah.
it's not the full truth.
But yeah, it's like that's everything. That's America. So they
Guy
all
goes, "My God, there's more tables here than people."
Yeah, Kat goes, "Apparently Edwina had vertigo or something." And she goes, "I hope she can get good health care for it." Didn't she say something about that?
I don't know, but I was like, this is an ironic moment
Yeah.
for Edwina. I wonder if Kat knows Kate Moss.
Probably.
Uh,
I think Edwina knew that Kat was coming as Sarah Palin to troll her, and she didn't want to be there.
so she did the one thing that any woman in her situation would do: call 911.
Any white woman in her situation, when they're feeling threatened, have vertigo.
Stretcher.
So Michaele, Kat's like a little wasted. I think she
Yeah.
and Joe were like taking shots before, and she strolls on up to Jen, Michaele's assistant. She goes, "I remember you. You were at the fake grape stomping." She goes, "You're the one who called me a bitch." It's kind
And
of
Jen
rude.
goes, "Well, I didn't really say that. I said that it was a bitchy comment. I did say that." And she goes, "Think you don't even know me. It's incredibly rude, disrespectful to say that I'm a bitch." And she goes, "I did say it's a bitchy comment. So that was what I said. But I think you're taking it a little too serious." I was like, "I don't like you, Jen.
Yeah, I don't like her either.
Fuck off." And then Michaele goes, "Did you just have a brunette wig on?"
She goes, "Yes, I did. Now I don't have it on."
She goes, "Did you have shocking pink dress on?" She goes, "Still have it on."
I was like, for some reason, that gags Kat. And Kat literally...
"Do you have a shocking pink dress on?" I was like, not the read I was hoping she would deliver in that moment.
No, but for some reason, Michaele is like able to gag her with like a really dumb... It's like, this is an observation. It's not like a comeback. And Kat literally like storms off and basically goes, "Rats."
Michaele just swans around the room, shaking hands,
Gagging people left and
gagging
right.
people left and right. They literally are like spellbound by her. She talks to some guy named Robert, and she's like double shaking his hand. He goes, "In this city, your credibility is everything. And once that goes, it's gone." She goes, "Everything. It's everything."
How foreshadowing that is.
I know.
It's a great episode.
10
Great
out of
season.
10.
This whole season's been 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I remember watching this years ago and being like, this is the worst fucking shit I've ever seen.
No, I was like hooked.
No, I know, but now I'm like watching it again. I'm like, wait, what was I fucking thinking? I was so wrong.
I remember feeling like incredibly impassioned. It was one of like the first Housewives franchises that got me like riled up.
Yeah.
Like getting that, like, you know, when you just get riled up on behalf of these women.
They should do it again. I know they have Potomac, so it's like maybe
why couldn't they just like circle back to some of these DC ladies? I'm sure they're still pretty interesting.
Well, no, like I said, I think Andy still has a friendship with Lynda and Mary. So, guys,
let's just talk about some incredible people.
Incredible
people. I have the pleasure. Oh my God, Pia from Australia. Alex Delisle. Makeup Fresh. Obviously. Sophie from Cleveland. Emily Vaughn. Castor Jorgensen. Miss Ryan and Mr. Jillian, also from Cleveland. Gina Sapienza. Sarah Elizabeth from Boston. Lucy from London. Brooke Johansson. All love. Lilia Farrell. Love. Rachel Knight. Gerd, Queen of Brooklyn. Brittany Date Night Weiss.
Love a date night.
God, Dilly McMillie. Bridget Wasowski. Lady Swamp, which gives no fucks. Jessica Hernandez. Mazatov Laws. Mary. Katie Sulin. Make Earhart. Sharon Baum. Realtor. My God, Timothy Shield.
Oh, I love Timothy.
Rogue Stanley.
Oh, she's amazing.
Matthew Thomas.
He's great too.
Owsley Robinson.
I don't know her that well, but I think what I know of her, I love.
Cheeseburger Bay. Mariah Kay. Kathy West. Kit Moore. Hillary from Chicago.
I love Chicago.
Orlando. Patron of the Farts. David from Switzerland.
Love
gosh. Nick Sedaris.
love
Emily.
him.
Kim
Lucas.
Jenny from Minneapolis. Katie the Sup Lawyer. RJ
and Jeffrey Pradama. We love you so
all
goddamn
have been
much.
to our winery, but they had a great time.
Oh, thank you for coming. Take some wine on your way out.
Girls, guys, days. Goodbye.